And welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm their coach for PRI, Rick Gailey, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nato. And today we are joined by a special guest, Tyrone Legette. Tyrone, thank you for joining us here on Prep Recruiting Insider.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Tyrone, 7 years in the NFL, third-round draft choice back in 1992. And collegiately, you played at Nebraska. And before we get into the NFL stuff, a really quite an honor for someone that I know you deserve it. Hall of Fame at Nebraska, that had to be very, very special for you.
Very special moment. I mean, being able to, go to Nebraska in 1988 and come out with those accolades as being a Hall of Famer is pretty awesome.
And you grew up in South Carolina and went all the way to Nebraska. What was it about Nebraska that made a young man from South Carolina go halfway across the country and go up north a bit as well to go to Nebraska?
2 words, Tom Osborne. It was all about the coach. I felt a coach who understood what's important in life, and it was education for it. And then it was the same for me as well.
And when it came time to recruiting, there's a recruiting show, Tyrone. There's a lot of young men and young ladies watching this program. What are you looking for? You have a son going through the process, playing high school football. What are you looking for when it comes time to make that decision of where to go to college?
Right. It's definitely the academics, and if that school, specializes in some of the things that you want to do in life, and being able to select a major as soon as possible so they can start doing some internships, at the state that they're playing in. I think that would be very important. Not always about coming back home to relax and see the family, but really start getting on that journey of becoming a man.
And the decision of what school to go to process didn't just start with college, because young people today and families have more academic choices coming out of middle school and junior high than they've ever had. What was it about John Curtis Christian School that appealed to you as a parent and to your son as a student athlete?
Right. It was their academic success, as well as the head coach who always pushed academics and also leadership. JT has a way of bringing out the best in the kids, as far as morally, spiritually, and academically.
You played for some really good coaches. I talked about Coach Tom Osborne. You were drafted by Jim Mora, and you played for Tony Dungy. Right. What is the common thread between those 3 guys as a coach, as an individual?
They all put family first. It wasn't always football. It was about family. The guys that was there, which coming in as a young age, becoming a man as far as being responsible, taking care of your business, and in those cases, making sure you took care of your money. A lot of them preached that a lot to the individuals who felt as if that was necessary for them.
And some other personalities along the way that I studied, certainly, during my coaching career. One of them was Monty Kiffin. Talk about him, not only his personality, and I see a tremendous difference between him and his son, by the way. I don't see much common thread there. That's a story for another day. Right. But not only about his personality as a defensive coach and coordinator, but how he revolutionized cover 2.
Right. Monty, never a dull moment with Monty. Monty was just that guy who was always over the top. A lot of excitement, a lot of energy, made you want to play for him because of his energy. Monty actually was coaching in New Orleans when I was here in '95, and he actually brought me to Tampa with him to help Tony and the secondary to perfect the cover 2, the Tampa 2 now, which is the cover 2 that we ran still in New Orleans. And he perfected it, and he's also said he was responsible for the black shirts in Nebraska, so I'm still researching that one as well.
When you played in New Orleans, there were 4 guys that you were close with, but they were called the Dome Patrol: Ricky, Vaughn, Sam, and Pat. What was it like being a defensive back and having those 4 guys called by many the best linebacking core in the NFL?
Right, truly the best linebacker core in the NFL ever. They made my job easy. They made all the secondary job easy. If we didn't get a sack within 3 to 4 seconds, that was way too long. The quarterback was either sacked or he was getting rid of the ball within that 3 to 4 seconds time. So being able to play with those guys, it was a great opportunity. They really made the secondary job so easy.
Now, you mentioned the black shirts, not just the Saints black shirts, but explain to us at Nebraska what that means and what an honor it is to get one of the very few black shirts at practice.
Truly, truly an honor. I mean, it's only 11 black shirts that ever can step on that field at one time. And that's an honor where it's the starting defense who earned that position during that time. And my years as a sophomore, when I got my first black shirt, I wore the gold shirt. Gold shirt was the second team as a sophomore. And I went to my locker after school, we getting ready for practice, and I have a black shirt in my locker. I cried. It was a moment where you really felt as if, you know, hey, I must be doing something good. And I never let that shirt go for 3 years when I was at Nebraska.
Coming up, Tyrone, you know, I don't know if you really knew you'd be in the league when you finished your days at Nebraska. Was there a player that you kind of modeled your style after, somebody that you kind of looked up to as a DB?
As a DB, we had a guy by the name of Charles Fryer. Charles Fryer was a little shorter than me. He was a little slower than I was, but he was the student of the game. He did everything right, the techniques. He studied film. He did the little things that most kids are missing. They think it's just all about the speed, the strength, and the size, but the little things such as the technique makes you a better player for a long time, long time. And that's what I learned from a guy at Nebraska who was a senior and I was a freshman, and he kind of took me under his wings and just showed me how to be a professional very early, very early.
1998 was your last year in the NFL, and the game has changed so much since then, and with that, defensive back play has changed. The importance of the number of defensive backs you keep on a team is a lot different now. From your perspective as a former defensive back, what changes have you seen? What's more challenging or perhaps even less challenging now? Well,
I see the defensive backs getting much taller and they get much faster, you know, than what they had previously. But they are really aggressive. These kids nowadays are so much faster and so much aggressive. And I really think that they taken the game to another level as far as in the defensive back, because they're really getting smarter, making better choices, and they're taking care of themselves. They're treating this as a business, you know, treating their body as a business as well by taking care of themselves, making sure they're ready and prepared mentally and physically in the game today.
Last 45 seconds, Tyrone. You came from South Carolina, played for the Saints, but you've made New Orleans your home, and you have a business here. What are you doing? And New Orleans is kind of special to you, isn't it?
New Orleans is very special to me. New Orleans really gave me my jump on life, you know, which is an opportunity to play the game of professional football. And I always tell people, you know, football is just an opportunity, it's not a career. But I did make my career out of construction and development, where we've been in construction for over 17 years. I started my first subdivision when I retired in 1998. So as soon as I retired from football, I jumped right into my dream, what I wanted to do, which is construction and development. And now we're doing very well in construction and development, and we'll be here for a very long time.
Well, thanks for being with us here today. That is Tyrone Legette, former New Orleans Saint, Nebraska Cornhusker, also a former Buck at 49er, now here in construction in New Orleans. We are here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. This is Prep Recruiting Insider. We will be back after this timeout to pull it all together. We'll be back.